and welcome to a Project Life video where I am sharing how I'm telling the story of Project Life, or how I'm telling the story of my life from June 2019 in my Project Life album. If you look down here right away, you can see that I have kind of started with some photos. Last month I ended up doing a whole bunch of the 3x3 pictures with an insert, and lots of "This is May" and label stickers. So I'm starting with the back of this. I have a bunch of pictures printed again 3x3, and then this time I decided I wanted to play around a little bit with adding in a couple of inserts. A picture of Simon here from the last day of school. I just have a chipboard piece. I'm working with the June Stories by the Month kit. That is a subscription that we have available, and obviously now we're kind of on to, I think we're on August now if you're watching this in real time. But we do have digital versions of this available as well if you like any of the designs that you see here on some of the journal cards I'll be using. And I have this pattern paper that's from Maggie Holmes. It's an older one. Actually, I'll find out if it's still available, but I kind of want to use it in here, and I'm thinking of just adding it in some way or another right here with the 9x12 page protector, either as that I will add other things on it, or that it will just be the end of this month, like the container of this month, I guess you could call it that. The beginning and the end of the spread. So what I have in here right now is a quote card. These are some plastic pieces that I recently purchased from Calico. This Embrace the Little Things card is from the June Stories by the Month kit. So I'm just kind of starting the process. Like I said, I printed out a bunch of pictures. And as I was doing that, I was thinking about, these are just like from my camera roll. This is when I look back at my month, at June, what are the pictures that I want to add in. There's also a card from the Stories by the Month kit that says every summer has a story, so that may fit in here somewhere too. But I do have the from my camera roll. This word art is available as a free download on my blog post about telling the story of June 2019. So what I'll be doing next is cutting up all of these, or cropping down these photos to 3x3 and figuring out how do I want to fit them in, because I'm going to have more than this. So do I want to have another page in here? Do I want to add in just kind of figuring it out. That's where I'm at right now, but I wanted to give you a quick introduction, talk a little bit about my starting place, and then we will see together how this all progresses. So I'm going to dive in, and I'll switch to talking to you guys via a voiceover. All right, so first step in this process was just to trim out all of those 3x3 photos. I'm printing them on an Epson PictureMate PM400. Yes, I could do them in Photoshop and probably not waste as much paper, but this is just a convenient way for me to go about doing it. So I print them individually and then cut them out. You can see that I also printed a larger photo there of Anna on the trampoline. That was one of the stories that I wanted to include this month, that we bought a trampoline. And I'm adding one of the plastic hearts from Calico along with the chipboard heart from the June Stories by the Month kit, and then these cute little puffy circles that have sentiments on them that were an add-on at one point as well. So you're going to see those get added in a few other places. One of the things that you'll see there, and we'll come back to it again in a second, I took one of the large 9x12 page protectors and cut it down because I only needed like 8 more pockets. So I have it's the 3x3 pocket one, and it's the last page there before the pattern page. You can see it right there. I just went ahead and cut it so that it only had those 8 pockets that I needed, and I liked having that as a way to transition over there as well. What I just did is I added Avery index tabs to each one of my 6x8 inserts, and now I'm going in and playing around with adding multiples of these other star and heart embellishments into the additional page protectors that I added. For my story this time, I knew that I wanted to use the June story card. There's 2 different cards. One is like a details card, and then the other one says something about like love these things about June right now. And I knew that I wanted to use those as my main word-based journaling, and so that's why I added in the page protector there with the 3x4 pockets. So playing around with these plastic hearts and stars, I'm pulling the plastic off of them. You know, they have a film over the top. I decided to staple the hearts in, and then the stars, as you'll see in a couple minutes here, I decided to treat it more like a shaker pocket, and I'll add in a few additional stars in there in a couple minutes, and then I also stitched the top closed. Here I am pulling out some of those additional little stars. I've gone through and reorganized all my embellishments so that they're kind of by type and by style of things that I used often, which hearts and stars are two of those things. And so I've got them organized that way so that I can just pull out my little box of stars and then be able to add them in or add them on to projects when I want to. So here I'm putting in like little gold glitter ones, a yellow plastic heart that's from a past offering as well. So those are in there too. Then I knew that I wanted to fill in the inserts of the Avery index card, or card. So what I started doing was I used the small stamp from the June Stories by the Month stamp set, and then I decided that I wanted to use the stickers instead. So you'll see that I put the stickers on one side, and then I used a rolling sentiment stamp for the back side of all of those index tabs. One of them gets pretty smushed or smeared, you'll see, and I ended up just leaving it. You can totally redo it if you want to. For me, it just felt like it was kind of part of the process this time as well. That happens here in a little bit. But basically, you can see I'm using that rolling stamp. It's a rolling sentiment stamp and then sticking them inside there. And it was cool because a bunch of those word phrase stickers, excuse me, on there fit almost perfectly onto the Avery Index tab. Excuse me, Avery Index tab, the size there. It's almost like a perfect fit for the size. So I have basically like an intro insert, and then I decided, do I want to add on a few other little things? So I took some of the word phrase stickers and added them directly onto a couple of the photos here with star embellishments. I think I just picked 3 of the photos. So I didn't put this embellishment treatment on every single photo, but I did it on 3 of them, just picked 3 random ones, and then added a star with a staple from the tiny attacher, which doesn't have to be on there. It's just an easy way to get those little sequins and or cork stars on top. So sticking those back in, pulling them out, sticking them back in. Again, that From My Camera Roll word art there is available as a download, free download on my post that you can catch on my blog, which is linked below if you happen to be watching this video on YouTube. And if you're on my blog, you should probably already see it. So just doing that in a few more places. There's that additional page protector that I put in that I said that I cut off most of it and just have one long strip with the 3x3 pictures there. And I did add an Avery Index tab to that one, so I'm trimming off the edges and then going to add that inside there after I use that rolling sentiment stamp again to add something else on there. I really liked having the different size page protectors. I think that's a fun way to mix things up. It's nice that the 6x8 can fit inside of the album as well. I decided I wanted to add one more of the cards, so I took the 4x6 card and cut it down to 3x3, and then needed to make a little bit of an adjustment there with my scissors to make sure that I could slip that into the pocket. So then I have the Joys of June on that side, getting lots of use of the cards there as well. Added one other sentiment or word phrase sticker onto one of the photos on the back of that page protector that I cut up, and then pretty much deciding that I just wanted to slip that pattern paper in there. I added one of the hearts and I used a brad to attach that on there after I pulled off the film on the plastic there. And most likely next month I will do a large 9x12 photo to start off, but I like having that pattern as the end for this month, as kind of the resting place or the end place on that month. Here I'm going back in, I'm adding a few more embellishments onto some of these. I also stitched across the top of the first insert I did red. I just had red thread in my sewing machine, so I went ahead and used that. You'll be able to see that a little bit better on some of the close-up images. And then I decided to add another one of the plastic hearts onto that June details card there, and trimmed off the edges, just the little spots there. I took those cards over to my desk, wrote my journaling on there, filled those out, pretty much just basically responded to what was on the cards, so I got a little bit of a story told here as well. And then just added one more sentiment along the underneath the word summer there, just, you know, giving thanks for summer. I really like that. It's a great way to use pattern paper that you really like, to just add it in there and not worry that you're not doing tons of other decoration with it. So kind of a fun way to play around with that. Not something I do all the time, but definitely an option. And I added in a few more of the puffy circles. I did back to back on the outside of one of the page protectors, and then I cut one of them and added that there with Simon. So one little flip through of what I did for June, and then I'll be back here for July. All right, that's a wrap on June 2019 for my Project Life album. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them below, and you can check out more videos here on YouTube and on my blog about Project Life and other memory keeping projects.